Going to be on power to a power, dealing with the exponents. So we're going to have to think back a little bit to when we first learned the exponents. And if you remember what it means when something's raised to a third power, basically you take that same thing and you multiply it 3 times. So something like this should be hopefully easy right here if you're thinking about it. 5 to the third power. You're going to have 5 times 5 times 5. So it's going to be basically 5 to the third power. Now, this sounds really easy, but some people are going to make some simple mistakes later on with this one, and hopefully it's not you. So, here's the shortcut. You're going to want to think about this, especially when you're first starting off right here, is anytime you have this, is definitely put a 1 in there. Why? Because what you're going to notice is with the shortcut is you're just going to multiply these powers right here. And 1 times 3 is 3. Common mistake that a lot of people write, you can guess it, right, it's 15. But actually it's going to be 125. So this is something that you could start off doing well, and then you could be making some simple mistakes with it. But if you start off the right way with putting a 1 there, I doubt you're going to be making any more mistakes. So I'm going to do about 3 examples with you. After I do a real quick refresher on this one, you're going to have x to the 5th raised to the 3rd power. I already know the answer, but I want to write it out a little bit just so I can get the idea of it, because I know it's x to the 5th written 3 times. If I go back to my multiplication rules, I basically have to add all these together, and I'm going to get 15. And if you think about it, multiplication is just repeated addition. So shortcut there is just basically multiply those exponents, and that's easy. It's the 5 times the 3. We start throwing more numbers in there and letters in there, and sometimes letters to the first power. That's where you're going to find some simple mistakes might occur with some of your peers. So let's try refreshing our rules by glancing over this really quick, and then we'll try, like, I'd say probably 3 examples should do the job. Okay, this one you should already have an answer. I'm going to give you the wrong answer right off the bat. 10 x to the 20th is definitely not the right answer, but a lot of kids will write that because they're kind of rushing through this right here. If you remember, everything inside that parentheses is going to be multiplied 5 times. Well, how many 2's do you have? You have 5 of them. So that's technically 2 to the 5th. That's not 10. So if you did 2 to the 5th power, you would realize that that's 32. And then you've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fours. That's going to give you the 20 right there. If you're able to do the shortcut, I would suggest that you put a 1 right in there by this 2, since there isn't anything right there, and then go multiply the exponents. And don't forget to simplify the 2 to the 5th. You're going to want to get to 32. So simple mistake is going to be dealing with the coefficient numbers, and sometimes look at the variables if they don't have it. I'm going to do 2 more examples with you and see if you can catch on to this one. All right, right off the bat, is my answer negative or positive? I sure hope you're saying that it's a negative, because you're going to notice there's going to be 3 negatives on this one. So if I take a look at this one, I've got a negative 4, negative 4, negative 4. 3 negatives, odd number, so it's negative. Oh man, what's going on right here with the x's right here? I forgot to write a 1 in there, but I do it in my head, and I'm going to do 1 times 3, and that's where I get x to the 3rd, and 5 times 3, that's the 15th. Now, I cannot remember to do negative 4 to the 3rd power. That's not going to give me a negative 12. I'm actually going to have to multiply that out, and I should get negative 64, x to the 3rd, y to the 15th. If you're anticipating some mistakes, some students are going to give you a negative 12, x to the 3rd, y to the 15th. Or they might do negative 64x, y to the 15th, and they're going to forget. I kind of think of it like distributive property, that I have to hit every single term in right there. If I had to, I would write everything else out. I know it would take me a little bit longer, but it's going to help me understand the concepts. So here's the last one. Let's see if you can get the answer on this one right here. Negative 4x, y to the 5th squared. So hopefully you've got that in your head, on a piece of paper, and we should be getting the same thing. Sorta. What does this mean? It means I have a negative 4, x to the y to the 5th, times negative 4, x to the y to the 5th. And basically what am I going to do? I'm going to be multiplying the negative 4 and the negative 4. That's where I get this positive 16 from. X times x is x squared. Y to the 5th, and y to the 5th, well, that gives you y to the 10th. Shortcuts, make sure you put a 1 right up here by the x. And then you're going to make sure that you're doing the distributive property. Hope this was helpful to you. Um, if you need to watch some more videos, if you search Mr. Kaminsky Math on YouTube, you'll be able to find a couple others that I have.